Hello there and welcome back to another episode of the Success Triangle, and today I'm going to tell you more about how you deal with the other personality types specifically. In the previous episode, what I do was I delve deeper into each of the personality types. Yes, I tell you what the D are, what the D strengths and weaknesses are, and how do you deal with a D. And then I went on to the I, and I talk about the I, and then how you deal with the I, and then the S, and how you deal with an S, and then the C, understanding the C, and how you deal with a C. But today I'm going to delve deeper into each of the personality types, in the sense that if you're a D and you meet another D, you're meeting your own kind, what do you do? And if you're a D, you meet an I, what do you do? If you're a D and you meet with S, what do you do? And if you're a D, you meet with C, what do you do? In the future episodes, I will delve into the other characteristics. Then if you're an I and you meet another I of your own kind, how do you deal with another I? If you're an I, you meet a D, what do you do? And so on. Yeah. And by the way, have you got a copy of my book, The Empowered Life? If you have not, please click at the link here and get your own copy. I hope in this situation, COVID-19 situation, where most people are at home and sometimes you may feel disempowered, I hope the book will help you to actually organize back your life and find your empowerment back and move on. For in every situation, you can overcome it, like what Jim Rohn said: when the wind blows in a different direction, all you have to do is to adjust the sail. And with that, let me just backtrack a bit and tell you a personal story of why I'm teaching this success triangle. Why is it so very important? Because I learned this the hard way. Before I go into personal development and I learn about the magic of thinking big, think and grow rich, having a good attitude and a mindset, and joining Toastmasters and improving my communication skills, my listening skills, and my leadership skills, I focus a lot on the technical know-how. Yeah. And that is the skills I'm mastering. Yeah. For example, in this COVID-19 situation, what most people do when they're at home, they will, I don't know, a lot of people I heard they do their own home-based business right now, affiliate marketing, direct sales, or you may even be in network marketing. And what do you learn when you're in network marketing? For example, if you're in nutrition, you learn about vitamins, the vitamin A, the B, the C, the herbs, or the noni, or the protein, and how it can help you, what ingredients are inside, and so on. And if you're in skincare, you learn how to use a cleanser, the toner, the moisturizer, the serum, and so on. And what you're mastering is the technical know-how. You may be the best nutritionist on the planet, but if you do not have a big why, you do not know how to communicate your ideas, you will still not be successful. I learned that the hard way, and I know if you're in direct sales, I've seen many people who are very good in their knowledge about their business, their nutrition, their skincare, or even their pay plan. They can calculate the pay plan to the T, but when they meet challenges, the first 5 friends that say no to them and they say they can't do, they give up because they don't have a big why. So why are you doing something? The purpose for your own business existence or your own existence, your mission and your vision is so very important, and your attitude, and then how you communicate with people. And in communication, now that you know DISC, you know how to apply the platinum rule. All right, so with that, let's delve straight into today's lesson, and as a D, how you deal with each of the other personality types. So let's get started. Okay, so can you remember how the D is like? What is the D personality types? So the general characteristics of a D is they are very decisive, they are very direct, they have very high ego, and their strength is they are good problem solver. They are risk taker, they are self-starter, they can change the status quo, they think outside of the box. And The value to the team is that they are bottom line organizer. If you give them a project, you give them a company and you want the company to be profitable, just leave them to do it. They will concentrate on the bottom line and get you the results that you want. And they place high value on time. For them, time is money. And they change the status quo. They ask, why not? If you tell them it has always been done this way and say, so what? So what? Why can't we do it a different way right now? Yeah, they challenge the status quo. They are very, very innovative. But there are possible weaknesses with the D. Of course, they overstep authority. Sometimes they do things even without seeking approval, and they do it first. And they are very argumentative. They argue with you. If they believe they are right, they will not back down. They dislike routine, and they multitask sometimes too much. They attempt too much at once because they are overconfident. Okay. Their greatest fear being taken advantage of. So how the high D works with another D, and if you are D and you meet another D, what do? Both of you are dominant, both of you are driver, both of you are egoistic. So what do? There must be mutual respect. Okay, and if there is mutual respect, if you are D and you meet another D, and you mutually respect each other, you will see the other D as also a driver, a visionary, somebody who's aggressive, assertive, competitive, and optimistic. And both of you can work well together. But if there is no mutual respect, you will see the other D as argumentative, dictatorial, arrogant, domineering, nervous, and hasty. So to have an effective relationship, you must have mutual respect for each other to avoid conflict. Both of you who are D must understand one another's realms and boundaries of authority. Next, if you are D and you meet with an I, how do you get the best out of an I? As a D, you view the I as egocentric. You view them as superficial, they talk a lot, overly optimistic, they glib, they're self-assured and inattentive because the I go all over the place without focusing on detail. And the D really dislike being sold by the high I, yeah, because they're egoistic and the high likes to talk and influence. So the D will become upset by the high I non-committal generalizations because the I are not specific, they are not detailed, they always overgeneralize things. And to have an effective relationship, the D must have a direct communication with I, because both D and I are very, very direct. And you have to deal with the issues in a straightforward manner. Negotiate commitments. Yeah, I like to negotiate, and they are very good negotiator. But you are very focused on your results as well. So both of you are good in negotiating. Both of you are direct. You want results, and the other guy, yeah, just like to talk. But you can negotiate commitments and goals on an equal basis. Now, what if you are D and you meet another S? How do you get the best out of the S? As a D, you view the S as very impulsive, very apathetic. They are very accepting, but they are very possessive as well. Yeah, and the S are very complacent. They are non-demonstrative. They are very passive, not active like you. And since they are not dominant, if you as a D and you show off, your characteristics as a D, you are very confrontational, you use a direct approach, you may overwhelm the high S because you view the high S as slow moving. So your quick pace of action and thinking may cause a passive aggressive response from the high S. So to have an effective relationship with the S, you must avoid pushing the S. You recognize with sincerity the high S good work. Be friendly with them, be more easygoing, yeah, take a step back, slow down with steady pace. You have to be a chameleon if you want the high S to relate with you. Adjust to their speed, adjust to their characteristics. And if you are D and you meet with this high C, how you get the best out of the C? As a D, you view the high C as overly dependent. They always want rules, they want processes, they want the SOP, and you find them very defensive or too focused on detail and too cautious and worrisome that without everything in place, they will not start. They get paralysis analysis. So you would think that of the high C as they overanalyze and they gets bogged down in details. As a D, you really can't stand the C. But if you want to work well with the C, you avoid pushing. You recognize with sincerity the high C good point, the good work. Yes, because they're detailed. You are, as a D, you overlook a lot of things. You are overconfident. You do things based on intuition, but sometimes you may just gloss over some very important facts, and that's where the C comes in. Now, be friendly, be more easygoing with the C, and be steady pace, and you will be fine. Yeah. So that's it for today's episode. You, as a D, you know how to relate with another D, I, S, and C. And in the another episode, a future episode, I will go deeper into the I, and as an I, how you relate with the other 4 characteristics. Until then, take care, God bless, and bye. So that's it for today, and now you have learned how, as a D, you can relate with the other 4 personality types. First with your own kind, the D, and then with the I, the S, and the C. And in the future episode, I'm going to go into the I. As an I, how you will relate with another I, your own kind. And then with the D, the S, and the C. Until then, take care, stay safe, God bless. And I see you in the next episode. Bye.